Okay, Sistas fans, first of all, hope everybody had a great time last night, live tweeting about the episode, joining the live stream here on YouTube. It was decent. I thought overall it was an okay episode, and ironically enough, my favorite portions of the episode were Maurice, which is weird for me to say because you all know that I'm not a big fan of the character, but at the same time, what I liked about those scenes was the fact that, yes, finally consequences for people's actions are coming back to haunt them. And I like that. Now, his attitude towards it wasn't my favorite, if just part of the episode. I just like the fact that we're seeing these people dealing with, man, I made these poor choices. Now I'm dealing with the, after effect. Now, season 6, episode 21, entitled Lose to Win. I give it a 7 out of 10. I don't think it was as good as last week, but I did still enjoy this episode for the most part. Yes, the trailer for next week looks insane. The trailer breakdown is, of course, a separate video. Make sure you check that out. But before moving forward into the actual breakdown of this episode, please hit subscribe. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you are notified when I post content. Sistas is not going on a hiatus. We're going to get the finale next week, and then we're going to roll into season 7. So don't miss out when I do trailer breakdowns, episode reviews, discussion topics, theories, all that good stuff. Be on this channel. This is where it's at. Okay. Now, yeah, at this point, I'm just going to accept that whenever Sistas drops a sneak peek, it's simply a look at either the opening scene of the episode or the first scene we get after the opening title sequence. But Hayden is in disbelief over the setup with Tamara. Gary is trying to drill it into his skull like, bro, you got played. Fatima did this. Hayden just doesn't believe him. And I did like the scene because, like I said in my sneak peek video, Hayden is saying what fans are saying. You're just mad things blew up in your face with Penelope and Andy and you want to ruin my happiness. He basically tells Gary to F off and leave his property. Gary's like, you know what? I'll let you have that. It's like, find a new tax attorney. Bro, for real? You going to let these, garden tools come between us? Get off my property. But he's like, okay, go talk to your wife. Go talk to Fatima and see if I'm right or wrong. So from there, he goes back into the house and Tamara is trying to play dumb. And when he's trying to get serious, she's like, come on, let's have some morning fun before you go to work. I ain't gonna lie, I would have folded right there. But Tamara isn't, willing to sign the annulment because Hayden is not playing games. Fatima Wilson. No. Oh, wait, that woman from your job? Yeah, that's all I know her from, your job, but that's it. And then from there, Hayden makes it clear, sign the annulment. It's like, you're going to let Gary come between us because Gary's not a happy man. I don't know. Just the way she delivered that line was funny. Yeah, I know he's not happy, but you're going to trust him over me? And I'm thinking to myself, but to be fair, the only way you know Gary more than Hayden is the fact that you know him biblically. But why did I say it like that? Biblically. Wow, I'm sorry. I don't know. It's almost like I had a stroke, like biblically. Okay. Anyway, Tamara then kind of drops, yeah, I'm not as dumb as you think. You want to get this annulment, but I know that I can try to get half, and that's what I'm going to do because, oh, yeah, you think I'm dumb, right? Well, hey, you don't know who you're playing with, Tamara. I'm a lawyer. Well, hey, I've slept with a lot of lawyers too, and they'll do anything I want. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Tamara knows more than she lets on, but at the same time, folks, take your feelings about Hayden, the fact he's a creep, stalker, just a genuine asshole, put that on the shelf. This guy is not to be played with when it comes to law. He's a lawyer. Remember, doesn't he know people like the feds or whatever? Remember how he was able to get the footage from the airport, and that's like really secure footage that you just can't, not just a random Joe Smo can access it. I forgot what department he said he knows a contact in, but he's connected. So Tamara, you might have some lawyers. I'm pretty sure that in a game of cards, Hayden's hand is more powerful than yours. But I did see somebody on Twitter say this. Tamara knew not to mention Fatima being part of this scheme because that's Madam's cousin and that will come back to bite her. But remember, Tamara, she went rogue. Fatima told her, like, look, you weren't supposed to marry him and do all this. And then she's like, you know what, I'm throwing my hands up. Also, side note, thank you to people who actually watched my video and understood what I was trying to say. The video I said, is Hayden's thirst for revenge all Fatima's fault? It wasn't about pointing the finger at Fatima. In that video, I break everything down from the beginning where, well, maybe these two knew each other when they were younger or like, you know, in high school or college or something like that because their moms go to church together. And then from there, I broke down, you know, Fatima had the one night stand with Hayden. But to be fair to her, it's not like she probably knew that, or didn't. It's not like she knew he was this like possessive and crazy and whatnot. But then, you know, you got to think about it. People look at Zach about Karen. Why doesn't he put his foot down with Karen? Because, well, it's technically his fault that she's still involved with their lives because of that quickie in the office, which may or may not have made her pregnant. So when it comes to Hayden, he and Fatima had that one night stand. And then Fatima was the one who put Tamara on him to leave them alone, which makes sense because look at all the crap he's done to Zach and Fatima. But at the same time, the minute that Tamara went rogue, Fatima needed to step in to remove the plant because guess what? Eventually, Hayden might find out the truth and then it's going to come back to bite her and Zach. And that's exactly what's happening now. And it wasn't like a Fatima hate video. It was a let's analyze this entire situation and look at what could have been handled differently. There we go. All right. So, the funniest part of this scene was Tamara thinks she had the checkmate moment of, yeah, you better get to work, honey. You got to make this money for us. Ooh. All right. So from there, we go over to Zach and Fatima waiting for Wesley. This part really didn't make a lot of sense to me. So Wesley comes out. Oh, also, I've said it a few times already. I like the fact that we're only getting bite-sized Zach and Fatima scenes because I'd much rather see some scenes with some substance as opposed to 15, 20 minutes of Zach and Fatima just being at each other's throats with some needless drama. Okay? But I am getting a bit exhausted with each and every Zach and Fatima scene consisting of Zach asking the same question. You know, Fatima, how are you cool with all this? Or, you know, there's no one else I don't think I've been with in my life that would have stood with me like you do. It's like, I wish the scenes were just a little more diverse. It's just the same rinse and repeat every single time. You know, that's just a little bit of a complaint I have. But like I said, I'd much rather just have this as opposed to Fatima hearing some gossip about Zach and not talking to him for like 5 episodes or something. But these scenes are wearing on me just a bit. All right, so Wesley comes out and apparently the judge just does not give a damn. The judge doesn't want to look at any evidence. The judge doesn't want to talk to Miss Cheryl. And when Wesley said, well, that's the thing. There is no proof of, and I was like, is he about to say no proof that Zach's the father? No proof of like Michael's abusive living environment. But the thing is, you know, if you get the abuse on record, then we got a case. And he's going to send some people over there to try to get some evidence. Oh, wait, you know what? No, I'll table that thought I have right now until I do my trailer breakdown. Or actually, I already did that. I'll do a video about Fatima potentially killing Heather. Because what if Wesley sends somebody over there and then they hear the commotion with Zach and Fatima and Heather and then this isn't going to be good. Okay, long story short, they just have to be patient. It isn't what they want to hear. And Wesley's like, look, Zach, I get it. Like, you know, I've seen cases like this all the time and you want to get your son, but there really is nothing we can do aside from being patient. I mean, well, nothing you can do. You just got to leave it to me and my team to try to get as much evidence as possible as quickly as possible. So that's pretty much it. Then in the midst of Fatima comforting Zach, Hayden comes over there because remember, he just found out his wife is a plant and he is pissed off. So Hayden confronts Fatima and Tamara over Tamara about the fact, oh, you like playing games, huh? It's like, Hayden has essentially turned into Hunter from the Oval, where he literally screwed himself over, Hunter, by taking those drugs. And now he thinks everybody that breathes is out to get him and he wants revenge. And then when it comes to Hayden, he was the one that got wasted in Vegas and got married to this chick without even knowing who she was. And now he's ready to get revenge. Oh, wait. Oh, Zach, you in on too, huh? Okay, like you like playing games, you like playing with my emotion? Okay, big worm. Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions. And then from there, we got Andy popping up. And, you know, she's like, Hayden, get out of their faces. You in on it too, huh? Oh, vengeance is coming. Vengeance is coming. And then you know Zach wants to beat his ass, but this is not the day. Thankfully, I'm glad Zach is showing some restraint, because he knows that if he whoops Hayden's ass and gets arrested again, he will definitely not he would definitely not be able to help his son at all. So I'm glad he showed some restraint there. So Jordan actually pops up, and this confused the heck out of me, because I was under the assumption like Andy was just showing up at the beginning of her shift for work. But then Jordan pops up to take her to lunch, and I'm like, wait, what? How much time has passed? Because, you know, Zach and Zatima were like going over to the office early, because as soon as Wesley came out of court, they were going to talk to him. But no, it's apparently lunchtime already. Yeah, and plus Hayden was going in for his shift too, and I'm sure his conversation with Tamara didn't take too long. I don't know, whatever. Time works weird. So they go out to lunch, and you know, he compliments the building. Oh, this is a nice place you're working. And Andy's like, I hope to have my own someday. Andy, I don't think so. I mean, with all the well, no, I mean, every time she gets involved with one of her higher ups or somebody with some money, she ends up upgrading from her apartment to a penthouse, to her original job as a new attorney, to being like in a partner level office and crap. So I don't know, maybe she'll sleep with somebody else and get an upgrade to her own building. Hell if I know. But they go over to their lunch, and essentially, number one, this is the same restaurant Fatima and Angela went to in season 1 of Zatima, which is pretty cool. And these two just have a bond. I don't know. I believe it or not, I actually like the scene here. They play off each other pretty well. It's sad that the actor for Jordan will be recast in season 7, but I think these two had a pretty good scene. You know, Jordan just talks about the Gary situation, the fact that, hey, my sister's a data analysis and she likes getting all the facts and the numbers and everything. So it would really, I don't know what exactly would she get from a conversation with you, but I think it will kind of give her just a peace of mind to try to figure things out. So whenever you're ready, and Annie's like, well, I still need to process things, but yeah, we will talk at some point. And it's kind of funny because they look at the food and whatnot, because I just look at the passage of time, like, how long is the lunch break? Somebody's like, hey, Jeremy, in the business world, lunch can take from like 1 to 3 hours, especially if it's business related, because they talk about going to lunch. They go to this restaurant. They ordered the food. They waited for the food to get ready. They sat. They said, wow, we haven't even touched our food. We've been talking the whole time. And then Andy's like, yeah, well, I carry hot sauce in my purse. And I was thinking to myself, so you carry hot sauce in your purse, but you don't like riding the bus. But somebody said, like, Jeremy, it's all about balance. So I'm like, you know what? You got me there. Because overall, it felt like Jordan was the bougier one at this restaurant, like not wanting to eat the food. I think he like, what, took a bite or two out of the pickle. Then they just got up and left. And I'm thinking, bro. And then he's going to say, no, I ain't eating here. Let's go somewhere else for lunch. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, y'all, that's kind of cold. I mean, you just leave the table. You just leave your plates there untouched. It's not like you stack it for the waiter or whoever to come pick it up. Plus, you walk right past the register where the people cook the food. Like, I ain't eating this. Damn, bro. Yeah, you were ex-NFL player or something, but sheesh, that was cold. That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary. Because at first they agreed to go to dinner, but then it's like, let's go to some other place without tablecloths to eat or something. I don't know. But it was a cute scene. It was kind of cute. Plus, I just thought about it. Andy kind of gives off Whitney Houston vibes with the heels and the yellow dress. Yeah, kind of Whitney Houston vibes. I'm here for that. But the thing about this one scene when she was talking about how, yeah, I had no idea about Penelope. It's like, look, I'm a smart woman, but I didn't know. And I'm thinking to myself, that's low-hanging fruit. I am not saying anything. But then eventually Andy makes it back to the office and Penelope pops up and it's like, look, I'm sorry. I need to talk to you right now about this. And then it's like, fine, let's talk, but just not right here. And then Gary pops up, talk about what? And then that's the end of the episode. But of course, there are a couple other scenes I need to go back and talk about, which I will. But you know me, I try to talk about the scenes in sequence so the video flows a little bit better. Sorry, this chair sucks. It is very squeaky. I'll talk about the Karen stuff, and then I'll close out with this Sabrina scene where she talks to her boss, and then when she talks to Maurice. Oh, actually, yeah. And then we'll end it with the Danny stuff. So, over at the new building, Brian says, is like, look, you know, to be honest, it's going to be cheaper to fix up this building than to repair your old one. And on top of that, we can try to get it done in 4 months instead of 5 to repair the old one. And then it's the fact that, you know, she's concerned about like the down payment and all. It's like, look, hey, I know the owner, and, you know, I can link you up with the owner and we can work things out regarding the down payment. And this was, look, Brian, he's giving all some weird vibes, but I like this scene because this moment where he talks about the importance of, hey, you know what? It's like I told you, the cost of buying when you compare it to like renting out your old building is pretty much the same. But more importantly, instead of renting, you will be a young black female business owner. And I thought about Tyler Perry talking about the importance of ownership. And I'm like, I like that. Ownership. And plus, my favorite bit is when, you know, he's like, look, that could be your office over there. Yeah, well, I can actually look out the window and have a nice view. Now you're seeing it's like the vision. Earlier today, I went over to my land just to look things over a bit, you know, just take a quick walk around. And I was trying to like picture in my mind, okay, the house is going to be here. I'm going to have another picnic table in the backyard here. You know, like the carport's going to be over there. I was trying to envision, because it's hard to see now because it's really muddy. All the trees in the near where the house needs to be were cut down. So it looks a bit rough. Trust and believe, it was a lot worse when I bought it. But yeah, it's getting there. So in a few months, hopefully the vision will become clear. So I really like that relatability. And, you know, Karen, I like this because the more she's focusing on this, the less she has to deal with the Zach stuff. So in a way, Brian and this whole like beauty salon thing can be her distraction, just like Tamara was the distraction for Hayden. But of course, then Brian just starts to get a bit too Aaron-like in the fact that, you know, hey, well, you remind me of my mother. And that wasn't the weird part, because I thought at first, like, oh, okay, this could explain why he's so adamant about helping Karen, because, yeah, Karen reminds him of his mother. And I thought it was funny. Karen's like, in what way? In regards to, like, what, do you think I'm old? But no, it's like the fact that, you know, strong-willed, hard worker. My mom worked multiple jobs. She raised me and my brother right. And you can lean on me and my wife if needed. It's like, I think I'll take you up on that. It's like, so what's your situation? Like, you know, is the father around or anything? And no, well, yeah, the father's around. Brian's like, oh. And I'm thinking to myself, this dude wants some. Either he wants some Karen or he wants that kid. I don't know what it is. But essentially, she's like, yeah, the father's around. And, you know, he's nice some of the time. I'm like, I know you ain't talking about Zach. But then you know she's talking about Zach. And from there, it's like, well, do you have a realtor? Well, actually, I don't. But I can call someone who I think knows one. Did not tell y'all. I told y'all in the trailer breakdown. She's going to call Zach for like a second opinion on the building. And while that isn't exactly what she did, it was more like, hey, can you refer me to a realtor? Boom. Told you. So she calls Zach because Fatima calls Zach first. But then Zach is like, oh, Karen, answer the phone, Zach. No, well, she's nice and everything. Fine. And then that was pretty much it. Just like Fatima, he's like, what's up, Karen? Yeah, I'm actually looking at a new building right now and some property, and I need a realtor. Do you know somebody? It's like, yeah, Valerie. I'll give you the number. Okay, thank you. Then that was it. First of all, another Zatima reference. We got Valerie mentioned, but then he gets back on the line with Fatima saying, yeah, you're right. It was nice, quick. She was asking for a realtor for some property. Oh, what? For a house or something? Now, I look, I ain't ask all that now. Well, yeah, okay. It kind of threw him off. Now, from there, we go over to Sabrina going on a lunch meeting with her old boss. What's her name? Miss India. I think that's her name, Miss India. And simply put, this woman, she embodies my entire feelings about Maurice. So let's break down the details. First of all, the higher ups at the bank company were reluctant to let Sabrina back on the job. But thankfully, the DA vouched for her, which again, why don't they look at the facts? Sabrina was the one that foiled the robbery in the first place. That would have been my biggest argument there. And the thing about it is, I think Miss India knows the DA, and then, that's what helped her get her job back. And instead of her original position at the bank we've known the entire series, Sabrina's going to be taken over, Sabrina's going to be put into another branch downtown. It's going to be more work because it's busier, but they need the help. My initial thought was, yeah, I guess this means Sabrina won't be able to just leave her job randomly like she used to do in the earlier seasons. Because if you go back to like season 1, it was not uncommon for like Sabrina or Danny or Karen or Andy to just drop everything and leave their offices to go to lunch or to go over to somebody else's house. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Like, so the only one who made sense was Karen, and that's because she, ran her own salon. So her just up and leaving at whatever, time made sense. Danny was on the clock. Sabrina was on the clock. Yeah, Sabrina's like the manager, but Danny was just a regular employee at the airport. Andy, it's debatable. I mean, yeah, she's a lawyer, but I mean, unless she had clients or anything, I guess she was free to leave whenever she wanted. But yeah, that's the funny thing. I'm like, oh, I bet she can't leave now. But then later on in the episode, we find out that she's not going to be manager. She got bumped to assistant manager due to the fact that there is already a manager at the new bank she's going to be working at. Now, then the conversation shifts over to Maurice. Oh, we're not bringing him back. Wait, what do you mean? And I thought to myself, Sabrina, don't do this. Look, just be happy you got your job back, even though it's not the same job, but it's still a job nonetheless. It's the fact that there's too many things that look shady about the situation. For one, he was letting Q, the robber, stay at his place. And whether or not you want to use that as the reason why you didn't want to bring him back, there were a lot of complaints about him on the job. And I'm thinking to myself, thank you. Because people kept saying, like, the way Maurice conducts himself, how in the world is he still working at that bank? And I said to myself then, you know what? This just goes to show Sabrina let this dude slide with just way too much on the job. If any other person was in charge of that bank instead of her, Maurice would have been fired. Now, we don't go into details about the complaints, but I think it's about the way he conducts himself, from the way he talks, the way he just, to customers and coworkers. It makes way too much sense. And not to mention, did they just not see all those complaints until after the whole robbery thing? Because you would think those complaints would have led to a meeting or something, but I bet money Sabrina probably had to give him a meeting, but nothing got done. Nothing got done. I did think it was kind of messed up, though, that Miss India was like, well, Sabrina was like, well, are you going to call and tell him? Oh, we're not doing that. I thought that was kind of effed up. It's like, look, him not getting a job back makes sense, but you could at least let the man know. That way he knows what to do next. But hey, from there, the boss like, hey, you want to get some coffee? I can give you the rundown of your new position at this bank. So I'm glad Sabrina got her job back. But on the one hand, I'm like, Sabrina, this is kind of what you get, because think about it this way. She kicked a wealthy prince to the curb because she didn't like the way he treated her friend. And her friend is the reason, indirectly or not, the reason she got terminated from her job. She got arrested. And now she's getting her job back, but she's getting knocked down a peg in terms of her ranking on the management totem pole. And I would not be surprised if she's getting like a pay decrease because she's no longer manager but assistant. I could be wrong about that, but it would not surprise me if she's going to make a little bit less money because she doesn't have the management position that she had at the other bank. That's just a theory. I don't know for sure, but it would not surprise me. Granted, Bio told her, hey, give me your money. I know some stock stuff. I can flip that money and like quadruple it or whatever. That way you wouldn't have to worry about working for a long time. That's what she should have done. But guess what? She wanted. This is what Sabrina gets for putting her neck out for Maurice. And where's that gotten her? Where's that gotten her? This ain't like Andy where it's like, you know what, I'm going to have an affair with Gary. I'm going to stick by Gary and I get a penthouse and a Rolls Royce out of it. No, Sabrina got locked up. She lost, she was on the verge of losing everything if she wasn't able to get a job. And now she doesn't even have the same power and potentially the same pay she did at her old job. This is what you get. So she does make it over to Maurice's apartment to let him know about the job. It's like, hey, well, I'm working downtown now because I met with the boss, Miss India. It's like, oh, wow, downtown. I like that. Well, I'm going to have to get new clothes and everything, but they don't want you back. The one thing I liked about the scene is the fact that Maurice didn't go off on Sabrina, because I thought that here we go again. He's probably going to go off saying, well, why didn't you vouch for me, Sabrina? Why didn't you? No. It's like, how can they let you back, but not me? Just like when she got out of jail before he did. But no, he's upset about like, well, don't they know, like, I had nothing to do with the robbery and whatnot? Like, well, Maurice, you had Q staying at your house, like, innocent or not, it didn't look good. And then there were some complaints. Complaints about what? I don't know. Right. And then it's like, Maurice, just like the previous 2 episodes, we had characters had a moment of reflection, except for Danny. She didn't reflect. Maurice like, you know what? This is the last time I go stupid over some chocolate rod. He said another word, but I ain't saying it. And then Sabrina's like, no, you weren't stupid. Shut up, Sabrina. Andy, it's not your fault you had an affair with a married man. Danny, you're not a whore. Maurice, you weren't stupid over Q. Yes, let them sit in their foolishness and realize the fault of their ways. So Maurice then gets the idea, I'm going to sue the bank. Okay, first of all, Maurice, where the hell are you going to get the money to hire a lawyer to sue? Because like they can't refuse to hire me because of, personal stuff. Because, I had Q staying at my place. And 2, who are you going to get to represent you? It's like, it's not, I highly doubt. Sabrina might try to beg Andy or whatever, but no. He's made his bed and he had to lie in it. 3, there is no case. There is no feasible way that Maurice could win if he were to try to get a lawyer to fight back. No, because the bank will have all this stuff. Well, it isn't just about the whole situation with Q. We have all these complaints. The way he conducts himself on the job. There are a number of reasons why this man is not allowed to work at our division anymore. Sabrina tries to say, well, actually, I can write you a letter of recommend. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm not manager anymore. I can't do that. Maurice is on his own. He's like, well, I'm going to have to sell my body. And I'm thinking to myself, OnlyFans? It wouldn't surprise me. We do know he's starting like a web show next season. But, yeah. But I think he still does work at the bank or gets a job at the bank because in the character descriptions for the new employees at this new bank, Maurice is mentioned. So I think he does manage to get his job back. I don't know. But Sabrina, stop fighting. Like, don't put your job that you just got on the line to get this man back in, because I highly doubt. Remember, you're not manager anymore. So let's say if Maurice works at this new bank with you, you're not the manager anymore. So I bet the real manager, the new manager, isn't going to put up with his antics. So there we go. All right, then the final scene. Tony comes up to Danny at the airport. Actually, they kind of missed each other on their lunch schedules, but he offers her a position in like his division of the airport. I did like Danny's answer though. Might be a conflict of interest because, me and you got this kind of personal thing going on. So I don't think it's a good thing to, mix business with pleasure. Again, good thing because like Maurice, maybe she's starting to learn. But she does mention how, depressing thing, it's over for real. Oh, this is great. Now I can officially ask you on a date. Tony, you're trash. It's like you basically admit to, yeah, well, I know you were seeing somebody before, but now I can like really ask you with no guilt. Like, bro, shut up. So they agree to go out and it's like, so what do you want to do? Double up or with the guys or, just one-on-one? And Danny's like, no, let's do it one-on-one. So then from there, Sabrina and Danny are on the phone. And they talk about the recent events, like how she got her job back, but not Maurice. And Danny's like, oh, he'll find. He'll just get a job somewhere else. And then from there, you have Yeah, and that's smart because Maurice wanted to pull a Monique and try to sue for not getting what he felt he deserved. But then she brings up the whole, well, you know, with the Preston thing over, me and Tony are going to go out. And yeah, well, me and Rich are going to go out too. You want to double date? No, you know, Tony wants to do his own thing. And I'm thinking, like, this is smart. Like, Sabrina, you need to start flying on your own. I think this will actually be good for you to go out on a date by yourself. Same with Danny. And out of nowhere, she gets a picture message showing that Preston is now married. And it's petty, but I love it. And that's the episode. So, folks, what did you think of Lose to Win? I thought it was pretty okay. Decent setup for a crazy-ass finale next week. As I mentioned before, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.